Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Yes.
After you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Miss.
Ma'am.
My dear. Darling. You just called me like 6 endearments. Ma'am.
Bun, squishy pie.
Hi. Sugar
Banana.
cube.
Oh god, I actually remember at one point, wasn't there like a list of like endearments from around the world? And
There
were
was.
super fucking cute.
And they were super cute. Okay, if
I
you
can't
look
remember
up,
them.
I would say if you look up endearments in other languages, you will come up with it. And some of them are so charming and cute, including ones in Russian, German, Chinese, Japanese, and a lot of them are like clearly colloquial to like pieces of the culture and older culture. They're so much fun. Like we had a few of them memorized for a while, but it's fallen like off the docket because there's nowhere to really use them in general. At least I haven't had a place to really use them, but they're super fun. All right, we head inside my room. Miki starts to replace my sheets while I'm sitting, I guess, in my chair over there, but it looks like I'm over here inside my bed while she's replacing them. But that's fine. I swear you're one of the messiest sleepers in this hospital. Are my sheets disgusting?
Are you shitting everywhere?
Am I having exciting dreams?
Okay, so the reason why I said something like that is because I'm like, what is your definition of messy? Which is why I immediately go to one of the more extreme ones, which is what sometimes some nurses do have to deal with, is the fact that some people have extreme incontinence issues, and they have to clean it up.
Yep,
like
and the diapers don't necessarily cover it all.
No, not at all. And, like, that is not a thing to be ashamed of. That is a thing that happens. Yes, it sucks, and I wish we weren't basically as aggressive or nasty about it at all, but, like, that tends to be one of the more extreme, basically, ones that people talk about, because normally for what we have been told and what we understand about human biology, you're normally supposed to be able to go to the bathroom. Now, it's unfortunately, to the bathroom when you want to go.
And by yourself without assistance. Yes. There is a big taboo in loss of that kind of agency.
Yes.
And there can be a lot of dehumanization about it when other people have to take care of it. When I remember my very first job working in the kitchen of a nursing home, as a dietary aide, which is basically just like a simplified lunch lady.
Right.
I was just saying, there was basically, you'd talk to a lot of the CNAs and they would just be like, CNA, and a lot of people would be like, God, I want to become a CNA because it pays so much more than the lunch job does, right? Than the food job does. And CNAs are like, if you love changing diapers, you will love this job. And most of the people who are in, food service or other lower paying jobs, they go, what do you mean? They're like, mostly what you do is change diapers all day. That is mostly what a CNA does. And then they help people take baths and just change their clothes and get them into and out of the lunchroom.
Right.
And it's like, since all of that's also on a very tight schedule, it can be incredibly impersonal and also not be able to deal with any of your physical or emotional needs in reference to those activities. And a lot of them get super detached, even when they're very functionally friendly, because they are supposed to get whatever's done while they're in your room before the scheduled next meal happens or activity you're supposed to be at, and get out of it and do all their other patients.
There's also another thing in regards to this particular line that I was just thinking about, where, number one, this seems like a very stereotypical mom thing to say, especially in reference to the fact that the gender of the main character is supposed to be boy.
Yes.
It's supposed to be male.
Yes.
So this is incredibly, sexist in that way, of going, well, of course the woman's going to complain about how messy the boy is, because boys are just messy and men are just gross. I don't like the levels that this goes to of slashing into stuff like that. And, again, like I said, you're one of the messiest I've ever known, and me going, are you people vomiting everywhere? You're one of the messiest sleepers. You've got body fluids coming out what the fuck are you talking about? He
is very low maintenance and has been demonstrated to be able to use the bathroom. So, I think she's talking about the sheets being disheveled, because I think they're talking about there's no medical stuff going on at this hospital. I really think that in this game, they're talking about the sheets being disheveled because, and disorganized, and you don't make your own bed, you're a messy sleeper, because they're not thinking about the fact that anybody has fluids in any way that anybody else would have to deal with.
But we're doing a sexy nurse game. Why would we ever bring up fluids? If they don't have, anything to do with
sex.
I
guess. Yeah. I don't think there's even sexual fluids in this game. I doubt it.
I do too, honestly.
All right, messy sleepers. It's a skill that I'm proud of. I work really hard to sleep that messy. I'm just thinking of one of my OCs who sleeps around their bed really aggressively.
It's honestly really funny.
It's very hilarious. Skill that I'm proud of. Oh, I'm sure it is, and then I have to clean up after it. I sit there and watch Miki do her job. That's not either weird or aggressive. That's kind of both. I sit there and watch Miki do her job. That's what she does. That's her job. Cleaning up after me. I'll just watch her do it, but also I'm just watching her and just not paying attention to anything else. I'm just observing her. I'm objectifying her, going, look at her while she does her job.
That's actually where I would...
While she bends over my bed and handles my sheets, where I get a good look at her while she does her job.
I honestly wonder if that isn't, like, part of basically... Again, this is why I'm like, this is a nurse fetish thing, but I don't also know all the details of the nurse fetish experience, because part of my brain, again, because I know too much about doctor crap, I'm just sort of like,
I know very, very little about the nurse fetish, other than I can tell you what to do, and I'm wearing a sexualized nurse, like, implied to be nurse uniform.
And what I'm going to do is sexily slide on some gloves, and let's do some below-the-belt examinations, because that's usually all it really comes down to as far as I can tell, and I'm like, your role plays are boring.
Okay, the one time that I have ever heard women talking about this, about their version of sexy roleplay, it really was like, sure, you put on the sexy nurse costume, and then you're like, I need to examine you, and then you go down on him, and it's so hot, and I'm like,
that's it?
That's your roleplay?
Yep.
That's your role? That sounds so uninspired.
So we've run into people who seem to think that basically sexy roleplay really does consist of what I do is I put on a cute, interesting costume and, ooh, I sort of frame it. You know, it's like the dorky roleplay. And I'm not saying it's bad. Please don't.
It's not bad. If you enjoy it, do it.
Yes,
have fun.
It's just the fact that people also go, but it's so intense. It's so kinky. And I'm just like...
You changed your clothes and then did your normal sex stuff. Really kinky.
Really? Oh,
I guess. Maybe I'm just not, and I don't mean to downplay anyone's kinky, but to me, I was just like, I don't get it, really.
Neither
or
do
also
I.
the basically, you know, the kind of thing of going, I am a nurse, and so basically I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm like, so you're basically framing nurse as soft dominatrix?
Yeah.
I guess. And going, maybe that's a thing, but like, people don't have to understand each other's fantasies, but in the most part, from like vanilla, like from... Heterosex doesn't sound like very inspired in most of the places I've been exposed to it, unless they're part of the kink community rather than trying to do something kinky.
Actually, we had an interesting sort of thing where, at least in our opinion, so we've had long discussions about basically trying to figure out sex, and there was an interesting video that we were linked to at one point, and I apologize, I don't remember where it is exactly, but there was this sex therapist who was talking about basically what she termed as, and I took a little bit of umbrage with, because I don't think it's necessarily true, but what she termed to be masculine sex and feminine sex. Masculine-oriented sex, and again, I'm using her words, is basically supposed to be goal-oriented sex, where the whole point of the sex is to do the do in a very specific way.
Right.
Is to have the insertion of this particular body part with
the whole point of the sex is to get the man to orgasm.
Yes.
That's it. Like the rest of it and how you get there isn't important.
It's true.
It's goal-oriented, the goal of getting the orgasm done.
Yes.
Okay? And that non-masculine sex, as she put it, or non-goal-oriented sex is more about the experience.
Yeah.
And so she says way more queer relationships focus more on the experience and not a goal you're driving to.
But she didn't say that. That was actually what we said. We went, hey, by the way, that actually basically, so we were going, oh my God, kink sex is more about experience, so it's basically goal-oriented / or in this woman's words, masculine-oriented sex, it's feminine-oriented sex, which I thought was really interesting.
And so we just like to term it as goal-oriented versus not goal-oriented. On the other hand, if your goal is to have a good time, but you have no clear goal post of have a good time, because there's no, I've officially achieved the have a good time at this specific moment, you know?
Which I thought was fascinating. Anyway.
All right, I sit there and watch Miki do her job. I can't help but stare at the way her fingers skillfully arrange my beddings. She's touching my bed. She catches me looking at her, over her shoulder. It's a boob and butt pose. It's amazing.
Brilliant.
And why are you suddenly so lovey-dovey over there? What?
What?
This is not my lovey-dovey face. Music stops. I love that. I'm not lovey-dovey.
I wouldn't call that lovey-dovey. Just call it horny.
Yeah, you could. I was just staring at your ass. I'm not in love with you. Again, I think.
Always that thing in regards to media where we're conflating basically romantic attraction with sexual attraction.
And they don't exist together.
Why do you think fucking porn exists, you guys?
Romance.
No, it's all about romance. Like, seriously? You're telling me everybody who looks at sex who looks at porn, which I am not at all shaming anybody for porn, but realize we're all having a deep romantic attraction to a purely sexual act? Where we don't know. I'm sorry. I'm like, it bugs the shit out of me. I'm like, what?
And also, it's possible to have sexual attraction to someone without having romantic feelings or inclination to them, and vice versa. The second one, of being able to have romantic attraction without sexual attraction or feelings, I had to learn about and had been a source of confusion in my life. Because as far as I'd been raised, if you had romantic attraction and attachment to someone, you had to have sexual desire and interest in them. And that is not necessarily the case at all, and I kind of love it because it makes my life make a lot more sense. All right. I was just watching. I like to watch. Is that bad? No, not really. I'm just not used to getting this much attention, is all. Normally, no one else stares at me in this outfit when I bend over in my short skirt in front of them. Only you.
Just you. Also, this isn't my job or anything.
You're not used to people looking at you? Even as the coolest and most popular nurse, even though you're not the most well-loved, because that's Louisa, you're not used to people looking at you?
You are fucking kidding me.
Guess not. Is that a bad thing, mister? She's
so...
as performative as Louisa is.
I was just gonna say...
No one has ever looked at me as much as you. Yeah, people just don't really look at me very much. You know, most people just don't consider me that attractive. I do. Oh, really?
Wow. God, this is so... Wow!
I have definitely seen this behavior in women, and in this game they might be playing it straight, but I have actually been exposed to various women talking about, and this isn't a generalization, whenever I say women, I mean ones that I've specifically talked to, not the group of women in general.
Right.
You know, there's this experience of going, yeah, he just told me I was so cool, so smart, so hot, and I know those things, but I acted like it was new and a surprise, and he was so much more attached to me. He seemed really, really excited about the fact that nobody had ever told me before. I love to do that for men.
And it's literally, I think I'm doing it for you.
I'm doing it for you, to let you know that you've done something original and good and valuable for me.
And you've observed it when no one else caught on.
No one else has validated me and my body experience the way you have, mister.
It's not like we're teaching each other toxic shit then by doing that. Oh,
right.
God.
The thing is sometimes you perpetuate cycles that way, or a lot of times you do. I don't know. Anyway, is that a bad thing, mister?
Actually, I wonder if part of that behavior is like... Holy shit, that reminds me. So, there's a couple of times, guys, where I've actually seen a couple of screenshots where people, basically, they're like, I got this compliment, and I said thank you, and the person got mad because I didn't respond, like, gushing, or basically, like that or even put it off. I go, thank you, yeah, I know I am, I worked hard on it. And these dudes just got fucking offended, like, you self-centered bitch, it was horrible.
I've done something nice for you and you don't appreciate it.
Right,
that one?
yeah, like, it was this weird level of entitlement, like, yeah, they acknowledged what you said, and they said, thanks for the compliment, yeah, I worked really hard on it. Like, they're not denying your compliment, dude! And they're like, you're so basically narcissistic, God, you just think so much of yourself. Like, it was really weird to watch this whiplash of going, like, you really want to be unique, it sounds like, to basically be that person going, I acknowledge that you were pretty. Have you never heard that before, you know?
I think it's also that there's the expectation that you'll get something from it. Going, I've told you you're pretty, that is a gift.
Right.
That is I'm giving you a gift of going, I think you're pretty, which entitles me to something.
Right.
I was going to say, anyway, so that is an interesting point. I've seen a few of those before, and I've never thought much about them, and I think it's because I'm really bad at taking compliments, or at least I have been for a lot of my life.
But that's the other thing.
And so a lot of guys will insist when you go, oh, okay, or no, not really, or kind of thing. And then that's an engagement they're familiar with. But when you go, yeah, thanks, and then you stop, not even I explained myself, I worked really hard on it, you just go, oh, thanks. There is a lot of confusion from people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're expecting you to be submissive and that I need to buoy you up because, you're clearly suffering under, poor self-esteem.
I will
Nobody
be here to rescue you. Right,
yeah.
all right. Absolutely not. We're all different people. That's kind of a neat follow-up, actually, is that weird? No, it's not weird for people to not stare at you. People are different.
Right.
Super agree on that. You, me, Rena, the only people in the whole world. Lisa, Dr. Barton, her mom, that one Grandma Baba girl. That's all there is in this entire reality. Oh, and the couple of visitors you got in that one time.
Ken and the two patients.
Well, I don't know their names because I wasn't there for that one. She was there for Ken.
Oh, yeah.
But Louisa was there for the other ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Going, the world's
Louisa
very small.
was not there for those because we had to go into her office, so that was outside in the cafeteria.
Okay, she was there for the two guys who visited from your team.
Oh, that's true.
There.
Yes.
The world's getting bigger, but still. Me, you, Rena, even Granny Baba. I've just killed everyone else. It's fine. Those are the only people in the world now. We're all so different from each other. Speaking of Granny
Whoop,
Baba.
that's Mister.
That's Mister. Speaking of Granny Baba, Granny, how is she? You mean her memory? She's doing great. She remembers everything. Remember how I told you that Rena's medicine was amazing for her and doing wonders for her body? Same thing with Granny Baba. We can cure Alzheimer's with treatment at this hospital.
Honestly, I still think one of the wildest things that I've heard is where they were trying to come up with an Alzheimer's medication that caused your teeth to grow back.
Even though she has Alzheimer's, you can tell she's a fighter. She's doing great because she's a fighter, not a measure of her actual quality of living.
God, I actually really liked where, I don't know if they were a nurse, what basically position they were in, but they were basically on this thing on TikTok where the guy was going off of basically being like, no, this person has a basically DNA, or a DNR, do not resuscitate. And so they were like, yeah, no, we're just gonna go. We have to follow the rules for this. The person was like, you don't understand. That can't be what should. No, this is what's on there. It's really literally on here in legalese and everything. We can't do any more than this. And they're like, no, you don't understand. She's a fighter. And they were like, oh shit. Well,
we better save her.
Because that's one of the biggest things that people argue about in regards to that. And I'm not saying don't care about your family members, and I'm not saying people shouldn't care or don't have emotions in regards to this, but it's also really frustrating where they're like, you guys, just because somebody is a fighter doesn't mean that they also didn't have choices, or they didn't have feelings, or they didn't have other experiences.
There's also a level of going, let people have their wishes for themselves.
Yeah.
Let them have their own agency and autonomy.
Right.
If they say do not resuscitate, unless you've discovered a brand new medical breakthrough and they're suddenly going to be saved and their quality of life will be utterly changed from when they made that decision.
Right.
And you can contact the person who is in charge of their, basically their, that has their power of attorney. You really should just let them be.
Yes.
Now, on the other hand, you might want to break the law going, okay, we told you you're fatal and you're not, but that's going to be totally on you. But again, you need to know something that big, that gigantic, she's a fighter, I just don't want her to die. Going, they decided this quality of life was not what they wanted.
Yeah.
They went, if I kick it, do not bring me back. And that is should be a person's right, in my opinion. I am pro letting people choose for their own medical agency.
Yeah.
That one. All right. Are you concerned about her? Good question. What do I really feel about Granny Baba, who I met 10-15 minutes ago? Maybe 30. We've changed the bed sheets.
Yeah.
And for about 5 sentences. And mostly what she said was, are you her boyfriend? Well, I don't know. Am I really concerned about the nice old lady? Yes, I'm concerned. No, why should I be? Well, if those are the only options...
Holy shit.
That is a little extreme.
I'm also you can be concerned, but also not
not interested?
Yeah.
Or not connected, or go, I don't know if I should be concerned. I don't know her.
Right.
You can have a general concern for humanity and people without there being a specific concern for each individual person you ever meet and going, I want to actually know about their lives. And go, if you have something wrong and I can help you, I would love to help you in this moment.
Right.
But I don't want to need to keep tabs on you and know who you are and be involved in your life and be friends.
Right.
You can stop someone from jumping off a bridge and help them through that moment, but you don't then have to stay involved in the rest of their life.
Right.
And it can still be meaningful, powerful, and important. All right. I'm going to say yes, I'm concerned, because I think he's trying to, he's worried about pleasing Miki at this point. Going, I was staring at your ass kind of thing.
So he's trying to distract.
And so I'm trying to distract, and so going, no, why should I be, might lead back to, oh, you just care about staring at me.
Right.
You can see that?
Yeah.
All right, so I do yes, I'm concerned. Yes, I'm concerned. He's also been sort of weirdly nosy about things.
I know!
So we're going to let him continue to be nosy. Can you tell me why? I kind of love how sassy and bitchy that is. Going, oh, you're concerned? Do you actually know anything about this person? On the other hand, it's gatekeeping. She can
oh, God,
answer
I was
the
about to
question.
say, wow, I mean, it's bitchy. You're not wrong.
Oh, it is bitchy, yeah.
Well, and it's basically shitty gatekeeping behavior. It's not just strictly bitchy, because I know a lot of people will be like, you say bitch a lot in reference to women. And I'm like, I try to say it a lot in reference to everyone.
Yes, everyone gets bitchy.
Yes, but it's also that is, whoa. That, mostly that is just gatekeeping bullshit.
Wow.
I
mean, she could just be by
she's
the way,
done it before.
confidential medical stuff.
Yeah.
She could just be you know what? She's doing okay, and I can't really talk about other patients.
Why is this the only thing we can bring up in reference to Alzheimer's?
I can't imagine losing my memory. Yeah, not all of the implications of it and why it makes things hard. And again, quality of life, which I'll just say over and over again. All the things you cherish, all the people you love, Yeah, the musician in the corner. Shit, we're changing the tone. Hang on, I need different music.
Oh God, I really need to get along.
Gone in the blink of an eye. Because the way I understand Alzheimer's is that the moment it afflicts you, you don't remember anything anymore.
It's gone.
And whatever Granny Baba's going through, I can't imagine what she feels right now. I
Honestly?
appreciate his limited understanding of this, but it
Ooh.
still sounds super basic.
Yeah.
Like very generic and non-specific. She moved away from our bed and over to us, I guess? That's what that side slide and scoot forward
I
was?
have no idea. Anyway.
Miki finishes with my bed sheets and sits down on the bed. Okay, that was supposed to be, but we're also placed so that we're at the head of the bed, even though we would be over there, like nearer the door with her
Right.
looking at us while she sits on the bed. Like they should just rotate the room some, but this is fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Or they could just zoom out a little bit, I don't know. And sits down on the bed. She hugs herself in a tender manner, because you always should hug yourself tenderly. That's a really specific thing. Not like she just gently wraps her arms around herself. She hugs herself tenderly.
In a tender manner.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to find out what her thoughts are on our thoughts in the next one.
Yes, so thank you very much for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos. If you're having a good time with us, please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. Got the links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!